The Beer Association of South Africa has joined the call for government to declare a state of emergency. They say that direct damages to retail and liquor stores already amount to billions of rand. The two SAB depots in KwaZulu-Natal were looted and set alight today, with fears that their three remaining SAB facilities in the province will also be targeted. Their CEO, Patricia Pillay, joins me now from Cape Town. Patricia, thank you very much for your time this evening. Can you tell us what sparked this joining of the Beer Association of SA in those calls for government to declare a state of emergency, and how you think that's going to practically help the situation?
Well, I think thanks for giving us attention on this matter. You know, we've really been watching the situation, and initially, you know, we really thought it was just about freeing Zuma. It was going to be a day's protest and then it would subside. But as we've all seen, it really has brought our state to its knees, and there's real anarchy out there. And now that it's affecting every single business as well as lives, and you have shown that it's actually taken now a death toll to 72 just based on violence, it really is has got to a state of just unacceptable actions that are taking place on the ground. And we are urgently pleading that we do get the army deployed, that there is a state of emergency.
Some people are saying that a state of emergency is overkill, that the SANDF has already been deployed, that the police are being capacitated to try and prevent further flare-ups and to deal decisively with looting and violence where it occurs. What would you say in response to that?
Well, it's not been our experience on the ground, and we've had incidents already within our organizations, and we've had our depots being burnt after they've been looted, and every single part of the business has been taken. So even the engines and the tires of the vehicles have been taken, the IT equipment, even empty crates and empty bottles have been taken. So this is an extreme level of criminality and arson. And once a plant especially is shut down and is burnt down, it's costs millions of rands to get that equipment up and running, and over 18 months to get a plant up and running. And as you know, we've already been shut down every time there's been a fourth alcohol ban now, and we've been fighting this, and we cannot afford this as an industry. But over and above that, we just cannot afford this level of lawlessness in our country.
So what we see on television sometimes doesn't paint a full picture of exactly what's going on. So your description of crates and empty bottles also being stolen, that sort of deepens our understanding of what the liquor industry is going through. You've also gone as far as saying that companies transporting raw materials like malt have also been targeted.
That's correct. And if you recall, in the legislation and in the gazettes, we were allowed to export, our alcohol. That was the one little grace that we received through these various lockdowns. And now even that has been stopped in terms of the criminality. And I'm not sure how it is that there's even a targeted understanding of where these trucks are, etc. But the courier companies have been stopped, even though they had protection, and the goods are confiscated, including the raw material. And this is what we have been facing, and you know, none of us have slept. We are exhausted, and it's not only the apparatus, it's not only the stock that we're worried about, but it's what's then left. Already we are at risk of retrenchments. We've already at risk in terms of our business and our people and our livelihoods. But if all of this is burnt down, and if we have nothing left, what do people have to come back to?
So up until Sunday night, when President Cyril Ramaphosa extended adjusted level 4 restrictions, continuing those curtailments of alcohol sales, many members of the liquor industry had been calling for restricted sales to be resumed, for off-site consumption to be allowed. Now, a state of emergency would put all of that on the back burner, and for as long as 21 days, a state of emergency would mean that there would be no reopening of the alcohol industry. Are you willing to deal with that economic fallout or financial fallout for the industry in return for peace and stability?
Well, right now, our country is really and literally burning. And right now, what we need is law enforcement. And it's not because the law enforcement has not been doing their job. They're just not capacitated. We've been in touch with the various law enforcement bodies, and they've been really willing to assist. They just don't have the capacity. And there is no other alternative right now that we can see other than deploying the army. And that can only be done if we can declare a state of disaster.
Well, the army has already been deployed. There are more than 2,500 officers on the ground as we speak. We know that they are there in a supportive capacity. What more would you like them to see them doing?
Well, we haven't seen them, just to say from our experience. Every single one of our incidents, there has not been police support. We've had to bring in private security guards. You would have heard that in the earlier interview as well. So all of the security, etc., has been what the security that we've brought in. So that's the first point. Secondly, is that, like you've said, they're in a supportive capacity. And that is why this behavior has been allowed to continue. And if we can show that this is not going to be tolerated, and thus far it has been, then hopefully this behavior will stop. It's unacceptable that our staff's lives are also being placed at risk. They sit in communities, in KZN, we've seen especially, where now this behavior is moving into residential areas. And these are our staff's lives that are at risk. You've seen now in the area that we have our factory in, that whole community could burn down because of the high levels of ethanol that we have here. So this is a serious issue. This is now getting to a point where we have to get serious about what action are we taking. Do you just stand back and allow the country to burn?
Thank you very much. That is the question on everyone's lips this evening. Patricia Pillay, CEO of the Beer Association of South Africa, speaking to us there.